welcome to Tome Talk. How was everybody's Christmas? Tome Talk brought to you by the fine people at blackdeserttome.com, your one-stop shop for maps, KR, English patches, skill builds, everything that you need to find, you can find at bdotome.com. This week, we've got a couple new faces that you'll see. We've got filling in for Brenzel and SARS, we've got Wolf Girl and Estoka. So I'd like to welcome them, give them an opportunity to introduce themselves. So, Wolf Girl, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. Hello everyone. My name is Wolf Girl. I'm a Black Desert streamer. For those of you that don't know me, I'm quite an active member of the community on the forums and on Tumblr as well.
Awesome. Estoka, would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. I'm Estoka. I've been playing BDO since about September timeframe. I'm the guy that probably knows less than anybody on the panel, but we have a good time at my stream.
Awesome. So, I'd like to jump right into things since we just had closed beta done. What was the best thing that you took out of closed beta 1 as far as that you really enjoyed the most? Kenu, what did you think about that?
That's a hard question, really. A lot of things in CBT1 I enjoyed a whole lot. The new field boss system, that was pretty cool, I thought. I really did enjoy that. Of course, the loot system could be touched up or something, but we weren't there for the loot. We were there to test out the bosses, I think. It was very, very fun, though, doing that. Just in general, the community seemed to be very excited about the game, so that was very, very fun, I thought. The karma system, I didn't really get to that much. I'm not really sure how much they changed in that. Besides that, really all I did is I got onto the game, I fished a bit, did some leveling, and tried out the field boss system. So the field bosses, like I said, definite worth. Hope you guys all had a chance to check that out.
Nice. Zemi, what did you like the most about this closed beta test we just had?
I enjoyed AFK fishing for hours on end. No, I did that a lot, but I would say, honestly, it wasn't really about the game as much. We got to spend a lot of time with our new members who haven't had the chance to play the KR. So it was actually one of the most enjoyable things talking to those guys. And I also think, meeting the new people who knew nothing about the game. There was some good, there was some bad. But I think overall, just getting to kind of meet the community in general for the newer players who are new to the game, and kind of seeing what they said. Like, I know I did say I turned off world chat for a lot of the times, but I did have world chat on a little bit, and I got to see some of the things about some people who are new, and they were like, oh man, this game's awesome. I love the look of it. Just, kind of seeing how people were experiencing it for the first time, and kind of remembering like when I got to play it the first time, a year ago. It was kind of nice to see that people are still getting that spark that I got when I first played.
Oh, yeah. It's always that first time you had that opportunity. For you, Wolf Girl, what was the things that you took away from closed beta that you really enjoyed, or was like the little shining point?
Well, I mean, as a whole, I found the beta quite similar to playing the Korean version and the Russian version, though there were subtle things that, to me, I personally disliked and liked, of course. I think the main point to me that really that made beta a lot more fun was actually just that playing with all people that had no sufficient advantage over you, and the fact that, of course, there was no actual cash shop or anything like that in the beta, so it's everyone just started from this fresh flat start, and you could I guess it came like a sense of competition against your friends, and I kind of like that. Also, the leveling was a little bit slower, which was nice in a way. I think it was good that it's slower than Korea, but not that slow. But give and take, I guess.
I think you would probably be one of the few that would say that. But Astoka, you seem to have a little bit of a response when she said that. What was the best things that you took from closed beta?
So, as far as the slower leveling goes, I of course hate it with a passion. But everybody's entitled to their opinion. The big takeaway for me on closed beta, the darker nights killed my eyes when I was out trying to kill mobs. But I just kept sitting there going, if I get a desert ghillie suit and dye it black, I can totally jump out and murder people, and it will be so much fun.
Well, yeah, I tell you, for me, and here's my shameless suck-up plug, it was seeing the interaction that Jessica and the other staff did with the community as a whole, all of the events, spawning the horses and all of that. I think that was one of the best things I took away from the experience, and that gives me hope for the future as far as with the direction that everything's going. So closed beta was over. Everybody got that little questionnaire that you had to fill out. What I want to start off with first is actually the last question. And I tell you, before we get to that, I just peeked over in chat. Brenzel is back. For everybody that's not aware, Brenzel had an accident with a knife in his hand carving a turkey, I think, back in Thanksgiving. But he's been having more issues. I want everybody to wish him well, and I hope he gets healed up so I don't have to sit in this seat anymore. I like it better when I'm up over there, wherever else. But back to the topic at hand, we were going to discuss the survey. And the last question that they asked was, what is the one thing that you would change from closed beta 1? So let's go ahead and start with Astoka.
I answered the leveling experience because I know it's been rehashed, but it absolutely drove me insane. I want that to go back to Korean standards so I can start doing my level 50 dailies and experiencing more that the game has to offer.
Okay. We'll go category. Zimmy, what's the one thing that you would change from closed beta?
Honestly, this is definitely not for personal preference, because anyone who knows me, I don't have a problem grinding. I really don't. Heck, I'm actually leveling a new ranger in KR right now. But no, I think the leveling is going to be a bit of an issue for the community basis. I do understand that some people want a more a longer leveling experience, but I think that I think a lot of those people don't really fully understand or are fully aware of how bad the leveling experience is going to be once they hit 50 to 55 or 55 plus. For those who didn't get to experience OBT or the beginning of OBT for Korea, 50 was the cap, and 52 was kind of your go-to number that you wanted to try to get to, and 50 to 52 was fairly difficult to get there. And once the 55 came out, 56, 57 was the way to go, and the number to hit. And it's 56 to 57 is very, very, very painful to get to. And I think that with people having to go with the grinding that they're going to have to do currently with the way the system is from 1 to 50, I think when they try to get to that 52 number, they're going to get burnt out really, really fast. And I think it's going to hurt the longevity of the game, personally.
Okay. Wolf Girl, what's the one thing that you'd change? Or
I'm not really sure that I can fault anything particularly that was really game changing to me in the beta. As far as it went, I had a really good time on the beta, and I thought everything was close to perfect for me. I mean, of course, there are bound to be things, if maybe I had more time to experience it, but in the time that I actually got to play the beta, I mean, I had a lot of fun. I guess the big wall for me that kind of annoyed me and my guild members was I constantly had friends asking to join my guild, and there was nothing I could do about that. I couldn't get them in the guild because, of course, it's so difficult to level up your guild at those early stages. Maybe an easier way to get more guild slots would be probably my main point, or perhaps not having a limit on the amount of guild slots in the next beta would probably be really good.
All right, Gino, what's the thing that you would change?
To change, there's a couple things. I will agree with that leveling system. That was way too slow for a lot of things, but I can understand it. Gave us a good time to test out this quest form to make sure everything was working correctly. Check out to see if all localizations were correct. I can understand the localization was probably one of the issues of why not all the classes might have been released. Just one part of it, possibly. So that was a big thorn in my butt, I thought, having to go so slow at leveling when I'm used to just going in there, getting level 50 in like, what, 15 hours or so? No problem, pretty easy. But besides that, it was all right. Most of the time, I spent my time fishing. It was just extremely fun during the beta for me. In terms of that, if you go on towards the guild system, like she was talking with, hard to get everybody into the guild. I do agree. It would be nice to have all my guildies with me while I was doing the beta, but at the same time, I was happy to test out the actual system for them, making sure everything was working correctly, of getting the extra 5 slots from here and there and going up towards it. But in terms of anything else I'd like to have change, I couldn't think of anything. They were putting things out there for us to test, and we did our job as a gamer. We tested everything that we could. Hopefully everybody filled out the survey, gave back their feedback of things they'd like to see different. Besides that, I had a great time.
Yeah, I agree with you. Everybody that was in the closed beta, if you have not already, go to the main site, fill the survey out. It's kind of like voting. If you didn't vote, you don't have a right to bitch. That's the way my grandpa always raised me. But surprise, when that last question, what's the one thing you could change? I didn't list one thing. I did a small essay. And I agree with the experience curve that I could understand slowing it down a little bit because Korea, you're actually over leveled. But if they could find it to where it's tuned, I didn't enjoy having to be forced to go out and grind. That's one of the things I love about the game, that if people want to grind, they can grind. People want to do quests, they can do quests. Also, the energy system. I understand that there was a problem. We just basically a lot of the things we discussed last week is what I tried to hammer home again on it. So that was kind of where I was at with it. Right now, we're going to field some questions. Supernova asked the question for the panel. Where do you plan to have 1,000 plus 50 players to grind on release once they reach level 50 quickly? Unlike Korea, we don't have Media and Valencia territories. Okay. Let's see who would like to do that one first. Eeny, meeny, miny. Zimmy's got his hand raised up. Zimmy.
So, well, please understand that Media and Valencia was not released when OBT started for Korea, and there was 1,000 plus players in Korea, and all at 50 and grinding. And the thing is like Calpheon in general, and other places, you actually have a fairly good spread out of where you can level at once you hit 50. You've got Catfishman, you've got Mancha Forest for the goblins and ogres and stuff like that. You've got your Shadow Knights down in the caves. You've got your priestess in the mountains. And this is all in the Calpheon area alone. Then you can also go over to Serendia and pick out the priests over there. So there's actually a very wide area you can actually level in. And that's how we leveled back then before Media and Valencia was released. So you actually have a lot of places you can level at, and I'm sure I'm missing a couple as well. And it's all going to be dependent on gear, you know. So I think that people, you know, this question of I'm a bit worried about, you know, oh, where people are going to level for NAEU. Well, you know, that's where they're going to level. That's where they're going to be at. So I mean, whether it's slow or fast, everybody's going to end up hitting a wall at some point at 50, and therefore you're still going to get 1,000+ people, whether it's fast or slow. And people are going to choose where they want to level based on what gear they need, what drops they're looking for, or just, you know, what's easier for them to kill. So I think, you know, the community will be spread out.
Okay. I'd also like to add that my guess, I'm not sure if there's been an official statement, we're probably going to get stuck with the mega server on each region. So hopefully down... I know, I'm just... Has there been any official statement on that?
Not that I know of, but...
Yeah,
oh,
but...
God, please no mega server.
Well,
Please no
I
mega
understand.
server.
The more I think about it, the more I'd like to have separate servers. But if they go that route, you know, hopefully they'll be on the ball quick and add channels. If they, no matter which direction they go, if they can add the channels, then hopefully that can spread the load out. But Kenu, you had some comments.
Yeah, I agree with everything that Zemi said with the places. He laid out a bunch of places where you can go and level. If you're just looking for the XP grind, it'll be pretty simple. Now, the good thing about this game, which is very exciting, is say you want to go fight in some catfish. You want to get them down, you want to go and level up because it's fun there. Well, if you have 2 other guys there that are from this one single guild, Guild War system it is. Push them out. Get them out of there. Get your friends to come out. Push them out. Go somewhere else. The channel system there is also going to be hopefully pretty nice depending on the number of channels. There's a whole bunch of people. Try channel 2. Go there. See if maybe you can grind on that one. I mean, things like that. It's going to make it a little bit more exciting. It's not going to be this easy game where you can go and you're just going to go to your one spot and you're just going to kill as many things as you can for as long as you can. There is going to be competition, and that's the good thing about this game. It gives you a little bit of an edge to try to do a little bit better. You start learning little different techniques, and you might find something out. Like I said, myself, I'm going to go with the Guild War system, hopefully. If someone's taking something that I want, if I can declare war, I'm going for war, and I'm going to push them out. It's going to make it for a much more fun experience.
Okay, Zimmy, I apologize. I started to cut you off. What else did you want to add?
I just wanted to mention the whole mega server. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, no mega server, yes mega server." I will say I did notice one thing, and I don't know how intact this system is, and I could be just shooting blanks here on this one, but it did look like Dom is trying. I mean, maybe CM Jaska can maybe mention it. I don't know how like hidden this is or not, but I did notice that they had 2 servers up or 2 channels up, and the NA version, and most of the time they were down. But I did notice that once things got crowded a bit, they opened up a new one. Maybe if they've got some system in place where it's like, oh, well, this channel will not open up unless these servers here are filled to X amount of players, and then once they hit that cap, then the next one will open up, and it'll be kind of constant on, opening and closing. I wouldn't be so against the mega server. The problem is with the Korean mega server right now is the fact that you have 24 channels open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and none of them close, none of them happen. So you end up getting these channels that are just absolutely awful, where they're empty. There we go. We had 2 overflow channels that were enabled and disabled as needed. This was done manually for CBT1. Okay, well, yeah. See, if they could make some system that was automatic, maybe just sitting, saying that, Jaska, I wouldn't be so against the mega server, and I think a lot of people also wouldn't be too against it either. That if you had some type of smart system that was like, if you have X amount of players in these servers, channel 5 will open up, and if they X amount of players in this server it gets down to this low, then Channel 5 will start closing and ask players to move to Channel 1 through 4. I know there's a system in place for another game like that. I think it's Guild Wars 2, maybe? I'm not for sure. I didn't play that long. I only got to level 40 and threw the game out the window. So, but I think that if that's the case and they can implement something like that, I think a lot of people who are really, really against the mega servers will not be so against it anymore.
Well, it's awesome that we got the feedback to answer the question. With that, we're going to move on to the next question that was from Kenla. The question is there a way to stay out of PvPing? And if not, if you get randomly attacked, do you lose anything? Wolfgirl, what do you think?
Okay, so actually, this is a question that I personally have had many debates with friends, and it's something that on the Korean servers, you actually get heavily punished for attacking people. So being attacked while PvEing was never that much of an issue to me since I started playing the Korean servers. Because of course it started differently, but now you get so punished that most people just don't PvP you when you're trying to PvE. Though a lot of people are scared that the punishment will not be as strict on EU and NA, so that could cause people to just kill PvEs randomly and ruin their experience. Now, to me, this is something that personally I hate because I love PvEing and I think the Black Desert is brilliant and I think it's so much fun killing monsters. I honestly do. And I can say that I don't think it will be as much of a problem as maybe most people consider it to be, because the way it's looking based on the other servers is that the only advantage you're going to get from killing another player is perhaps gaining that territory to farm, and of course also having a system where you can collect their trade goods on killing them, or a certain amount of their trade goods on killing them. But I don't think this will be a huge thing because the actual negative for killing someone on the Russian servers, which I have played as well, is a lot less harsh, and yet PvP is not that much of an issue on the Russian servers either. So I'm kind of basing this off how it works on the Russian servers, as I played both. You do get people that PvP you, but at low level, it's kind of just a potion spam fest. So if you're to get attacked, you're likely to be able to run away and just pot your way up while escaping from the person that's killing you.
I will agree with you on many of those points, but the good thing about it is if someone does jump you and attack you, very much like you said with the karma system, if it does get bad enough for them and they do that on a daily basis, call in a friend or two. The three of you guys should hopefully be able to take that one guy out if you're good and leveled. It'll be fun. The only other thing I can say on that aspect is if they don't decide to flag up and go on the karma style and they go with the guild war, if I'm not mistaken, there is slots that are open for protection in the guild. If something gets declared on you, you can put a protection on a certain amount of people, which I think is going to help out tremendously for those who want no PvP in this game and just want to go PvE style for them. I believe that's going to help out tremendously, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think with that, of course, me and Zimmy will remember this. Some of the newer players won't. The other guilds, I think that one got buried in a skeleton or in a closet with a whole bunch of skeletons. But I think if they were ever to dig that concept back up, that could solve the problem. Potentially, if you want people that are protected. But then the other option is clans. They don't have to be in a guild, so they won't have to worry about the war deck. But the random PKers, that's going to be dealt with through the karma system. Astoka, you have anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, the only thing to remember is anybody who watched my stream the other night will know the karma system kind of goes out the window if you anger the guild enough. They declared war pretty much just to kill me repeatedly for about an hour, and I just manned up and took it and talked trash a little bit. But just be aware, just because the karma system in place, it isn't going to stop some guild for declaring war on you and murdering you relentlessly.
Oh, that's true. Anything you'd like to add on that one? Because that's you've got a lot of experience, Zemi, and I think what they're trying to figure out is if they just want to go out and enjoy themselves and not be griefed.
Well, I mean, there's definitely ways around it. I mean, you're always going to run into people who are going to flag up. And, personally, I think this was one of the great things about the Korean version is making it to where you can't PvP until 50. I think this was a great thing. It allowed new players to, experience the game and kind of get to 50 before they really had to, get in deep before some person decided to come up behind him and gank him. I think that it was a really great system, and I have said multiple times, and I even remember like early on people were crying about how the PvP was activated at 50 and not below. And personally, like, here's the thing, and experience kind of shows, if anyone did any PvP in CBT or in Alpha, was that low level PvP sucks, period. It's awful. It's just a pot war, that is it. There's no skill involved. It is just who can sit there and spam the most pots until whoever runs out of pots. Those who haven't PvP'd will still continue to fight that. Also, personally, I think a lot of this is going to come from people going, well, I just want to go gank some lobies, and, I'm gonna get to 50 real quick, and then I'm gonna go to the starter zones and just, kill some newbies. And, honestly, I get it. Some people get off on that. But, it doesn't help the community at all. It really doesn't. So I think keeping it at 50 was a very, very smart idea for the KR version. Even in Guild Wars, it did get a little sensitive, and I even remember some wars. We're not going to mention any guild names or anything because I just don't want to do that. But I remember some Guild Wars where we had in our lobies got punished, or the other guilds their lobies got punished. It wasn't the fact that I'm not going to say whether or not they were purposely trying to gank lobies, but is what it is. And I'll be the first one to admit, if I saw a lobby in an enemy guild, I'm gonna one shot him and keep on going while I'm hunting the rest of their 50s down. But it just kind of, when they stopped that, it was good. It was very good, because we did lose a couple members because they were just like, well, I want to be in this guild, but I'm getting shit on over and over because some level 50 from some other guild that you're at war with is killing me over and over again, and I can't actually level up. So, they took that out of the Korean version. They were like, fine, no lobies, period, can get ganked until you hit 50, and it helped, because a lot of our members we had some members come back, and they were like, oh, well, I don't get ganked when I'm lower than 50. So it was good. It was good for the community. It was good for just a sense of new players being able to experience the game before they got smashed.
Yeah. If I may just put in something on that, I feel like quite an important thing to remember is with Zemi talking about guilds and how guild lobies were getting punished, and it was something that really caused issues for at the beginning of KR, of course, is that really what you have to remember is, if your friends are all planning to join a guild that's going to be heavy PvP, declaring war on everyone, and you're the type of player that actually really wants to take your time and do quests and be more of a PvE player, you're probably best on holding off joining that guild for the time being.
Well,
Okay.
now it's not too bad. Now it's not too bad, though. Now that you don't get ganked at lower than 50, so even if you're in that guild that's warring and stuff like that, you can still take your time to get to 50, and you don't have to worry about someone coming up behind you and hitting you in the back of the head for donkey punch.
And that, by limiting it to level 50, that also protects the non-guilded people from the random gankers. That's the worst thing that can happen to a new game. I remember my days back in Ultima Online. I got my first set of plate armor, and I'm walking out of Britannia to the crossroads, and blam, blam, dead, lost everything. Now, their system was a little bit easier to get it back, but still, that's hard for your first experience. Next question came to us by Jibsy. He asks, I came to Black Desert Online not knowing anything. I thought it was a PvE game, but after reading a lot of articles and threads, all I can see is, quote, this is a PvP game, end quote. He wants to know, how true is this?
It actually is very true. It is a PvP game. I can see why, if you're looking on from the outside, how you could think, oh, that's a PvE game. You don't have just open world flag up. You can kill anybody, no consequence, really. I can see where you can get that. There, people talk about bosses all the time and everything like that. But you got to realize, guild wars are a thing. They happen quite often. People do it to start up PvP. And the main thing, if you're unaware of this game, there's something called a siege system, where you take over nodes and you take over places. That's where you're going to get a lot of PvP right there, and it's going to be a massive PvP event for you. This game has so much PvP in it that you just actually have to do a little bit of research, and then you'll see how much there is for you to do. It's not like you're going to come in here and just farm bosses all the time, try to level up. I mean, what game is fun that's honestly just like that? In my opinion, I have no game that I joined that would do that. I thoroughly enjoy PvP, and I would not be playing this game if I did not think it had enough PvP in there for me.
And I agree entirely with what Kenu is saying. A lot of times you'll see the comments of this is a PvP game, because the analogy that I kind of go with is, if a bunch of people were playing hockey, and we'll consider hockey the PvP, and you came in and started throwing a football around on the ice, they'd be understandably pissed. And you get a lot of comments saying, hey, let's do this thing that ruins PvP because I want a PvE or quote-unquote Care Bear. So there's a lot of animosity between the two communities, but the core design of the game is a PvP game, and the PvP community has been looking for that holy grail for a long time. So when somebody comes in and tries to take it away from them, they get very angry. Wolfie?
Okay, so I'm kind of like holding my breath while you guys are talking here. So I am, as I'm sure a few of you know, fully under the thought that this game is both PvP and PvE. And I actually, I'm strongly against people that say Black Desert is a PvP game, mainly for the reason that I have had a better time on Black Desert than any other MMO in the past 2 years, in the time that I've been playing it, and I have done next to no PvP. So if you're telling me this game doesn't have a PvE side, it's just wrong. Like, I can see how this game is, more focused towards PvP, but it definitely has a place for PvE players as well. I thoroughly enjoy the PvE on this game, and I think due to the combat system that Black Desert has, I don't mind grinding mobs. Most people will say, oh, hey, this game doesn't have PvE because most of the PvE is mob grinding. Well, just to put this in, there are other games out there that have thriving PvE communities that are very, very grindy, and I think that really it's fun for me to do the grinding in Black Desert. I enjoy that, and there's so much else you can do. Like, I'm sure so many of you know the crafting, the connecting nodes and all of this. And I really feel there's no lack of PvE content either. So I don't want to drive PvE players away completely by saying, this game is only PvP. And I think saying it's only PvP is wrong, though it is more focused to PvP, and I can agree with that.
Okay. My answer would personally be that there's still enough PvE content that it's not the only thing to do is PvP once you level. I know on Korea, I've personally been enjoying going out and completing my adventure journals. And they had this on the closed beta, so everybody, if you didn't get to level 30 and get to Calpheon, at that point in time, after you talk with a certain NPC, the Black Spirits gives you a quest. 2 quest lines. One's for knowledge, one's for energy. And I can tell you, based off of completing that entire line on Korea, you're talking hundreds of millions of silver, which is a pretty good incentive. But those are things that you can do besides PvP as far as, in-game. But Astoka, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with what Wolfie is saying. There is a very good, strong PvE element, and I just wanted to clarify. It's not a matter of saying that PvE players can't play this game. It's just that any type of requests from the PvE community that discourage an active PvP community are the ones that are met with "lols, this is a PvP game, get lost, nub," things of that nature.
I'm kind of like on the fence with both of these. I came here for the PvP, 100%. I've been looking for a very, very good open world PvP, so I totally feel the PvP community. In fact, like I am an open world PvP player. That's what I am. I hate arenas. I can't stand them. And when I see people going, I want arenas, it just absolutely drives me up the wall. But going down to the PvE, like PvE is still a main portion of this game. Like you have to PvE to PvP. End of story. Like there is no getting around that. You can't just, I'm gonna sit in town and queue up. It doesn't work like that. Even in the red battlefield, you still need gear. It's still a bit open world, and you're still gonna need to grind to even get gear to go into the red battlefield. But the only thing that worries me about adding more PvE content to the game is, one thing that I guess people are kind of like, they don't fully understand, and I can see this from a game design point of view, is that because this game doesn't have the Holy Trinity, it doesn't have your tanks, it doesn't have your dedicated healers and things like that, it's really, really difficult to add very difficult PvE. And so I think a lot of people who are wanting this type of PvE and wanting like PvE to be in game and raids and things like that, it's going to be fairly difficult for the developers to actually come out with that unless they add a dedicated tank or they add a dedicated healer, and that is going to change the metagame for PvP. And so when people complain about world bosses and things like that, it's like, what do you really expect? You have no dedicated healers. You have your wizards who've got like a minute cooldown on their gigantic heal. What do you want them to do? You can't add these complex systems, because if you do, they're gonna die. So this because of this, it is more dedicated towards PvP. But at the same time, like I do think there is a place for PvE players, but they need to be very careful because you don't want to have PvE affect PvP, like as in where, we implemented these raids and the only way to get the best PvP gear is by doing these raids. It's actually one thing that ticked me off about ArcAge was that you had to go do the dungeons to get the best PvP gear, and it absolutely drove me insane because I was like, I don't want to do that. If I want to go get a good raiding experience, I'm going to go play WoW. Plain and simple, you can love or hate the game, but it's got one of the best raiding experiences out there. So it absolutely pissed me off when I had to go to Serpentis or whatever the hell to get my ring or get gear to go and PvP and be competitive in PvP.
Okay, Wolf, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to that. I can see where Zemi's coming from, and I agree with you that PvE in that sense, maybe actually it's lacking in, and making it more focused on that would change the game entirely. But when I say PvE, I don't necessarily mean dungeons and raids and things like that. At the end of the day, I never expected that from this game, and that's not what I love about this game. And may I just say, I actually played a game called RuneScape for 4 years, which has no run dungeons, no raids, and no kind of Holy Trinity in it at all. And yet I never PvP'd once in that game. It was an entirely PvE game for me. And what I enjoyed about that game was grinding for gear, was getting these rare items, like killing ogres over and over and over and over again for an ogre ring, like you do in Black Desert. That to me, I enjoy doing that. I don't mind killing, this same mob for 3 days, 4 days on the trot for that reward at the end of getting this really sweet item. And I don't think you need dungeons for a game to be PvE. Of course, this only akins to certain groups of people, and it doesn't apply to everyone. It doesn't. But I think it has PvE in its own way. And I don't think I'm not one of those PvEs that's saying, oh, this game should be more Care Bear. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a Care Bear. Like, everyone knows that, I'm a Care Bear. But I don't think it should be more Care Bear. I'm fine with the way the game is. I'm not saying it should be more akin to PvE players. I'm just saying it already has PvE. I don't think it needs changing. I enjoy it. I enjoy the PvE, and I think it's perfect as it is. So I just wanted to let you all know that I'm not one of the people that thinks we need to change it. I enjoy it as it is, and I think the PvE is good.
Yeah, I totally agree with you about that. Like, I think going for what other people were saying was that I think that's where some of the animosity comes from, is where people are like, I want raids, I want dungeons and things like that, and that's where PvPers get really, really pissed, is because they know that if you add dungeons and if you add raids, that they're going to end up being affecting PvP. And I think you're absolutely correct that being how it is right now, it's fine.
Well, on that subject, then we're going to move on. The idea, it's open world. It's so the people that want the PvP, they can actually go and jump the people that are doing the PvE in the dungeon, so it gives them an extra thing they have to keep their head on a swivel. That's one of the things I always enjoyed. But nobody's going to be able to have their little safe instance and don't have to worry about it. The one thing that I would, and this is just glossing over it, Jessica, be prepared for this one next week, is the changes of the crafting system. I think that is affecting a PvE segment of the players. With the changes of the recipes, it's really, there's no reason that I see that somebody would want to craft weapons, for example. But we're going to save that one for next week, and we're going to move on to the next question from Trial. And he asked, what if they changed the leveling curve instead of slowing the whole process down? This would mean slowing the leveling down from 1 to 50 and making it faster after 50. Would that be a good thing? That's kind of interesting, changing. So, Kenu, what do you think about that?
I'm going to have to go with the big no. I would not like that in one bit. Especially if we do start PvP off at 50. If you're going to slow my leveling curve off from 1 to 50, that means I'm going to have that much longer to wait before I can go out and start fighting people. I have that much longer to wait before I can go out and do, well, about anything in the game. 1 to 50 on my terms, that's basically the introduction to the game. You're going to run a few quests, you're going to learn a few things about crafting, you're going to learn a few things about upgrading your gear, etc., get the energy, all of that good stuff. And making it faster after 50, I just think that would be kind of useless, in my opinion. The one thing that a lot of people like to hagger on, like to hold on to, brag about each other, is whenever they're like, I'm level 58 right now. I put this much time grinding mobs to get myself to level 58. It's not an easy achievement to agree or to come by. So this is something I am proud of. That's what I really do like about BDO, is that there is no cap. But afterwards, you get to the 50 and go on, it's just so much harder to level. It's exciting to me at some point. You don't see many games that do something like that.
I agree with you entirely, Kenu. And 1 through 50 is, let's get everybody in the game, let's let everybody learn how to play it. And then above 50 is where those gamers who really want to prove themselves and show their dedication, that's where they can really show, hey, look how much time I've put into this game. Look at how many birthdays and anniversaries I've missed. My wife left me. I am level 61st. I did it. You guys suck and you're all plebs.
Okay. Don't know how to respond on that one.
Unite.
Estoka, what would your rebuttal to that be? Oh, I'm sorry. I'd seen your moment on my part. Let's go ahead and we will jump to one as far as AFK farming. He asks, is there any official changes to the karma system? He says, I know a lot of people are not too keen on the idea of PvP being limited to Guild Wars. So, Zemi, what would you think?
I mean, like, I don't know. Like, personally, I think the only like PvP, yeah, I think the only PvP things that really need to be done. Like, I'm not really looking for battlegrounds. I'm not looking for arenas and things like that. It's just, I think the only thing that needs to be done, they have their red battlefield. You can queue up to that. So, I mean, that's kind of your instances. I don't want to see arenas in this game. I really don't. Like, I really don't, because I remember horror flashbacks of them ruining trading and everybody in AA and everybody doing in-continent trading and me stuck queuing in town the entire time. Or WoW, where you sit in town queuing the entire time. Don't do it to BDO, please. That's all I really gotta say. Don't do it to BDO. Come on.
I miss the open world as far as experience with it. So and I keep going back that Pearl Abyss has done such an amazing job. If people hit that little button so they can see all their quests and take the time of going through it, you will learn not just all the lore about the game and the war between Hydael and Calpheon and, how the progression of your Black Spirit, etc. No spoilers, but that teaches you the game. Everybody remembers the first Blackstone quest you get at level 30 with Delphi. The game teaches you all these mechanics, so keep it at 50. Don't let it go, I think, with the leveling curve. The game's supposed to start after 50. So there's another question that AFK Farming asked, and he was asking about, Canoe had mentioned about the safe slots for guilds. And I know that CM Jessica has made several posts on the forums about it. Basically, it allows a guild leader to allocate points, and he can say this person, and this person is off limits. And that's the basics that I understand the system. We never actually had to utilize it, but I know that he's posted a lot on the subject, and I recommend anybody, as far as make sure you're following him on their forums, as well as the project managers and the staff. That way you can quick and go boom and see where they've posted and responded. So, Estoka, do you have any thoughts as far as, or does anybody else on the panel have any comments or additions with the safe slots that can be unlocked?
I'll jump in real quick.
Okay.
I got murdered like 36 times, and I don't know if my guild leader knew about the safe slot thing. T, I know you're watching. That would have been clutch, buddy. Would have been clutch.
Well, I take blame for that. I was actually talking with T1 at the time, and we were watching. It's like, oh wow, he just got. And T1 was like, I need to go. And I was like, yep, I know. Ended the call, and he came. Okay, so next question comes from Rimmon Chaos Lord, and he asked, Black Desert Tome, is this game like Albion Online, that you lose your gear on death on PvP, aka hardcore PvP? Canoe, what would your thoughts be?
Luckily, no, you don't really do it unless you decide to go out and start ganking people. You don't necessarily lose equipment, but you do lose gems if you're negative in karma, if I'm not mistaken. And is there a chance for it to break? I'm pretty sure. You can go from, plus 15, and then you can go down, or does the weapon break just completely? Someone wants to touch up on that point.
Well, what happens if you have negative karma and you have armor equipped and you die, and it's plus 15, it'll go down to plus 14, and you'll have 1 armor stone in your inventory. And here's a spoiler. Many people on Korea, they have that low-level karma character, And there's a trick: as long as you don't go below -200, the guards will not attack you. So it's a trick that's used to build up the fail stacks, and we can cover that at a later date. But there are purposes to have those little ones. As far as you can always lose gems whenever you die. Any gems that you have in, I can't tell you how many of the offhand gems I've gone through. But Wolf, what do you think?
Well, honestly, with the whole system of karma and getting negative karma to enchant your items and things like this, and how hardcore the PvP has to be, I believe that I don't think the punishment should be that harsh. Like, I don't think you should be to that stage where you're losing enchants just for killing 1 or 2 people. Now, as much as, you know, I've suddenly changed my tone. Wow, I'm a care bear, but I don't want it to be like that. It's for the sake that, you know, I have friends that PvP, and from time to time, I like to PvP. You know, I've been grinding in a spot, you know, killing some mobs, and some guy comes over and starts killing my mobs deliberately. You know, he deliberately starts killing my groups of mobs. I want to kill him, you know? Like, he's doing that. He's annoying me. He's obviously trying to steal my mobs. I want to attack up and kill him. Now, do I think that I should be punished severely for that 1 kill? No. I think it should be something that perhaps maybe the more people you've killed, the more karma loss you get per kill. And I think a system like that might work a little bit better. But, you know, that's just my take on it.
Well, I like your idea that the more times it should be like an escalating. You do it once, it's a slap on the wrist. But if you keep doing it, and especially I think that people that are spawn camping or griefing, if you have a situation where somebody has flagged up, no guild war, and intentionally killed the same person, say 3 times or 4 times within a 10-minute period, I think the penalty should be extremely harsh, because they are trying to disrupt somebody's playing experience. It's not just, you know, good fight, boom, I killed you, moved on. So I think with that, but I tell you, talking about, you know, we mentioned the old systems, I really wish the gear wasn't as difficult to get in Black Desert. So, and I would go for a full loot. I'm actually in favor that in any PvP kill, any coin that you have on you, that should be lootable. That should be at least some reward for winning the fight. There should be risk and reward with it. So our next question is from Pojantika. I apologize for murdering your names, but they ask, what do you think about the pickpocket system? You'll lose karma, and admittedly, if you get caught. And if you're successful to the pickpocket, you will get totally random item. I think that the pickpocket penalty is way too heavy in KR. First penalty from pickpocketing is about -90, which is 270 energy to gain back. If new player just keeps stealing NPC, he will suffer a lot after he tries to gain amity with the NPC. So, Estoka, what do you think?
Leave it to Pojantika to again teach me something about this game. He knows a lot. I didn't even know there was a pickpocket system in place. Where do you guys on the panel who know stuff? I just kill stuff. I don't know stuff. Where do you learn about pickpocketing? Help me out.
You just need to do it.
It's
a knowledge thing.
It's an interaction option that you have, that if you are behind an NPC and the little option wheel pops up, you can have the option to pickpocket. Now, I think that could be interesting mechanic, to where if the skill and it raised up, you'd have a chance of getting more valuable items. To me, what's really important in any type of game design, game theory, is risk versus reward. That's the fundamental. Just like in an economy of supply and demand, you need to have risk and reward, and it needs to be worth it. So anybody else know anything regarding as far as with the pickpocketing. I was told that you do lose the karma on it also, but it doesn't go as quick.
All I know about the pickpocketing system is that I I thought it would be a really smart idea to go around stealing from children in alpha, and then I realized that I'd had a lot of negative karma. So maybe some kind of alert telling you, hey, if you pickpocket people all the time, you're going to get negative karma would be really good, because I made the mistake of doing that when I knew nothing about the game.
I understand the risk and the reward, but there really does need to be a pretty good risk on that. And I really do think you should gain things kind of fast on pickpocketing. That's just free items. If there was no penalty on it, or if it was a low penalty, someone can honestly just go up to all the NPCs, pickpocket, 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 just start getting free items. And if someone was to focus on that with not that hard of a penalty system on it, it just seems broken to me. I'm not a big fan of it. The pickpocket system myself, I'm not even sure why they have it in the game. It's one of those kind of weird systems. It's fun, I'm not going to lie. It's kind of cool to have it in there. You don't see that in any place normally. But it's kind of different. But there does need to be a pretty good, I think, I lost my train. There does need to be, what am I trying to say? Oh,
Risk
shit.
versus reward.
Yeah, risk versus reward. There needs to be a pretty good high risk on it, I do think. It doesn't need to be spammed. It doesn't.
Yeah, they actually have some quests that do require pickpocketing. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, the new Valencia Part 2 quests,
Awesome.
if I remember correctly, I know some of the guys in my guild have been doing it. I personally haven't. They said they had to pickpocket some people. So, and I know you can get some stuff, but I think honestly, the karma loss and stuff like that, it's really not that bad. Kill a mob or two at level 50 and you're fine. It's really nothing that's that game breaking, and I don't think you should be able to spam it either. So I think it's perfectly fine how it is. And it's just an interesting mechanic.
Okay. Think we've got next question is coming from hard to spell.
Hard to pee.
Actually, I think it's hard to spell, is what it is. Which he asks, what about workers only doing work if you are online? And why does a person who have the ability to keep their PC turned on 24/7 have an advantage over the person that can't do that? Canoe, what do you think?
I really do like the thing about not having the workers work when you're offline. I really do like that. If you had someone like the people who can leave their PC turned on all the time and just have your workers working and working and working and working, I mean, I think that would crash the market if it was available offline as well, because you're going to be getting so many items in. It's something that needs to be in place. Now, if someone wants to leave their PC on and just continuously have their workers keep going, okay, good on them. I guess they can ruin their PC a little faster than most. That's fine. That's going to be a lot of memory going the whole time. But it does need to be in place that if you're offline, the workers do not work. Because if you had it on, you can make a few accounts and just keep that up, and I don't think it's going to be worth it, in my opinion. You're going to hate it in the long run if it was to be workers work all the time.
Okay. I personally think that that's a little bit, and it will be a legacy from KR. If you think about what their pricing model, in Korea, they have the PC rooms. And that was an extra perk benefit to keep people sitting in the PC room so they could wait for their farm to finish. Because if you're not online, your crops aren't growing either. Everything stops. So that's I think, partial, like I said, legacy from the way Korea is. If they change it on North America, I'm not sure. Personally, I don't have a problem with it. What I do hope they bring back, Jessica, if you're listening, autopathing, wink wink, nudge nudge, so we can level our strength and stamina up. And my video is people are not saying that it's not working, but with doing that as an example, people will be leaving their computers on for whether it's fishing, or leveling up horses or strength or stamina. It's just part of it. And that's a choice that I think, everybody makes with that. Estoka, what do you think?
Yeah, instead of being able to leave your computer on all night performing whatever tasks you have set up, I would like to see them limit the amount of tasks a worker can accomplish while you're AFK so that you can still, hey, I'm building a boat, I want to finish it up, I can't be here. I'll set my worker to do whatever its maximum number is. Right now, I think I can do 20 with some of my giant workers. I would like to see that just be lower while you're AFK so that I can maybe set them to do like 3 or 4 things so I don't get this huge advantage, but I can still wrap some stuff up if I need to, go to bed real quick or go for a walk with the dog, something like that. You know what I mean?
Just adding on that, I know there is. No, I don't. I probably shouldn't even say this because it's going to be really bad and it's going to touch a nerve. I know in the Korean version you can actually pay to complete it. I kind of hope they don't add that in CBT1 because that will be, or sorry, in NA because that will be awful.
If you say it, they will do it.
But there was at least an option in the Korean version where you could actually pay to complete it. I noticed that you can hit the button to finish quickly. I hope they don't do that. But hold on, let me let me be really clear. I hope they do not do that. Do not. But there was a way. I think you get rewarded for leaving your computer on. I think that's fine. I think it's fine how it is right now. So I don't think there should be any type of speed up process. It is what it is. Like if you complete it, then if you got to go to bed, then so what? You got to go to bed. I mean, that's the great thing about workers. They work for you. And you can do other things in game while they're going. So you don't have to really worry. You don't really have to be stuck in town doing nothing while they're, going on about it.
Well, one of the things to keep in mind also, we're still waiting on the energy that kind of ties with that. If they choose to keep the processing and the energy, beer is going to be a lot more rare than what we're seeing. And you're going to need that beer to keep the workers happy. But Wolf Girl, what would you like to add to the topic?
Okay, yes. So just touching on what Zemi said there about the paying to extend it. That is something that I didn't know about personally, so thank you for letting me know, Zemi. And something that I feel would just be so crushing to the game. That just reminds me of one of those mobile games you get where it's like, hey, you're gonna build a castle, pay us £5 and we'll build the castle straight away for you. That's what it reminds me of. But I have no issue with people leaving their computer on and having a bonus from leaving their computer on. But I'm actually gonna have to agree with the fact that maybe that could be capped, so you could only have a certain amount of AFK worker. I don't know how to describe it. Your workers doing things while you're AFK. I think that would be probably the best way of doing it.
I do want to comment about that real quick regarding the whole I totally forgot what I was going to say. Crap.
I rubbed off.
Yep. Damn it,
It's the seat.
I'll think of it in a minute, I promise.
Okay, well, Zimmy, we're waiting for the epiphany to hit. We went a little long tonight, and we're going to touch the last question, which is from Denive. Now, hold on. Did you get it, Zimmy?
Nope, I can't even think of it now.
All right. The last question from Denive. Is the karma system character-based or account? So if I lost karma in one character, will my other characters also have a minus? I can answer that. I can answer it real quick.
He got it.
Okay, Zimmy, and we'll come back to it. Zimmy, please.
So your mobile app. Your mobile app comment. Now keep in mind, they actually did. Dom KR actually did comment I want to say 5 months after OBT started, 6 months after OBT started, and this was before the thing came in for the workers, is they were designing the Korean version to be mobile gamer friendly, period. And that's one thing I keep trying to tell people is comparing the KR version to the NA version is you have to be very, very careful because they specifically stated that they were going to design the KR version as a mobile gamer friendly game. Obviously they're not going to do that come NA, but they did say it, and they did very good at doing it, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you had your epiphany. I'll go ahead and re-ask the question, and this is a real easy one. Is the karma system character-based or account? And the answer to that is it's on the character. So you can have one character that goes pirate if you want to and goes completely, bury your karma. And it will not affect any of your other characters. But you need to also realize that your family name will be displayed. So there's no hiding behind, I'm going to make an alt that's going to be a douchebag, and then I'm going to have my goody two-shoes role-playing character. They're going to know who you are. It's also, they'll know what guild you're in, because all of your characters, when you join a guild, all of them are in the guild. Anybody else have any closing words before we wrap this show up?
Yeah, that's the one thing I really do like about it is the family name. You can't hide something that you did with the family name showing above your character there. Just play the game how you want and be a man up to it. Don't try to hide your actions.
So, Astoka, any closing thoughts that you would like to leave our fine viewers with?
Yeah, this was an excellent program. I just want to thank all the co-panel members for an extremely interactive and informative Tome Talk. I learned stuff, as always, because like I said, I don't know a whole lot, but I learned a lot today.
Well, I want to thank you and Wolf Girl for filling in with the holidays and then medical emergencies that we had. Hopefully, I believe Sarzul should be back next week, and I really hope we're able to get Brenzel back as soon as possible and he heals well. But Wolf Girl, what closing thoughts would you like to leave?
I'm going to have to be super boring and do something very similar to Stoker here. No, I just wanted to say it's been a really great opportunity to talk to you guys and hear some opinions from different members of the community because, as I've said many times before, I am a Care Bear. So, yeah, it's nice to hear some thoughts from maybe more PvP-oriented people. And, yeah, I love the experience. Thank you so much.
Well, I do want to suggest and recommend to everybody, if you have not had the opportunity to spend time watching Astoka or Wolf Girl, you guys have really missed out. So show some support, hit the follow button for them so you'll be able to see what they offer. We are really, really fortunate as a community of an MMO that still hasn't launched yet. The streamers that we have are amazing as far as being helpful, informative, just trying to build a community. And these two, Wolf Girl and Astoka, are prime examples of the quality that you'll get as far as coming onto Twitch and the different streamers. Now, Zemi, my senpai, what closing thoughts would you like to leave us with this week?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna be a little honest here. So, I just want to keep. I just kind of want to let the community know. I've been noticing, and I'm probably gonna catch some flack about this later. Guys, let's try to tone down the toxicity of the community. This community is great. And it can be an amazing community, and I would love to see this community actually do very, very well, and I don't want to see it go down the horrible, horrible road as some other games have gone. And even me, like I've tried to tone myself down and be very careful at what I say and just kind of ignore certain people and things like that, and let's just kind of let's make this community great. And I do hope that I do see that the CMs are kind of in that spot as well, and that they are trying to crack down on some of the toxicity that's going on. So I hope that everybody kind of just relaxes, play the game for the game. PvP, kill each other, do what you want, but let's try to keep the toxicity down in the process.
That's excellent words. You need to remember we're all gamers. We enjoy playing games. The purpose of playing games is to have fun. And that's the number one rule. Anybody that thinks their goal is to go out and we're going to destroy the game, well, remember, if that's your goal, then your goal is not to have anybody to play around with. And I think you got more serious issues. But it's a game. Have fun. Try to be civil. And remember what Thumper's mom told him. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. But Zimmies.
Wasn't going that far. Wasn't going that far. But,
well,
you know.
Hugs.
Let's just have a whole bunch of hugs and love. But on a serious note, thank you everybody for tuning in. We will be back next week, same time, same channel. In between that time, if you can, like I said, please follow all of the panel and show them your support and give them a chance. Also, don't forget to check out blackdeserttome.com, your number one source for information, apps, tools. If you're playing on Korea, you're probably using their work. And I tell you, there's not a harder working group that I know of. They are literally, a lot of them didn't have Christmas because they are working to get this ready. So show your support. Once again, everybody, I guess, will be next year when we're talking. So everybody have a happy, safe New Year. And thank you for watching.
See ya.
Bye-bye.